What is poppin' YouTube? Doing my rest of season rankings for all position groups. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. Moving to our S tier of running backs, we have CMC. No need to dive into CMC. He's the best player in fantasy football. Boom. S tier of running backs. Then we move on to our A tier. We got Travis Etienne, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Kyron Williams, Alvin Kamara, Tony Pollard, Austin Eckler. Travis Etienne arguably has a better rest of season schedule than CMC. So if someone were to debate me, I think Travis Etienne might outproduce CMC. I could hear that argument. But at the same time, I'm not dumb. I'm no dummy. I ain't putting Travis Etienne above CMC, but do have Travis Etienne as my RB2 rest of season leading off the A tier. Then we got the two rookie running backs. And to be honest, if you drafted Bijan Robinson or Jahmyr Gibbs where you drafted them, you might not be in playoff contention because they did not have solid starts off to the season, but now they're cooking. So if you somehow are in playoff contention and are making the playoffs, shout out to you. You have an elite end RB1, top 5 RB in my personal opinion with Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs. Kyron Williams, a lot of you called me out last week, said he was too low. I just couldn't rank him high, especially coming off of that injury. But what did my man do? He put up an amazing fantasy football league, like better than anything pre-injury. So Kyron Williams, congratulations. You have made it into the top 5 running backs rest of season. Then we go on to some veterans here in the A tier. We got Alvin Kamara, absolute PPR machine. Without some of these wide receivers, I know Chris Olave looks like he might not play this week. My man could get like 20 catches in PPR, which could be absolutely incredible. Love Alvin Kamara. Tony Pollard, Austin Eckler. Both of these older veterans have been underproducing this year. And so you might say to me, Caleb, why is it they are in the A tier rest of season? Tony Pollard, it's just the offense is just that good. It is so good. It's hard for me to say, yep, I'm putting Tony Pollard in the B tier. Like that'd be dumb of me. They're continuing to get him more involved. He's getting a few more touchdowns that we were talking about. Now, is it the same type of touchdown upside that I was hoping for? No, but it is getting there. And then Austin Eckler, PPR machine, but it hasn't been there with the Chargers offense. Brandon Staley's probably about to leave. Kellen Moore, I don't know what's happening. Clearly was the Mike McCarthy show in Dallas, but Austin Eckler here in my A tier. Then we move on to our B tier and we got DeAndre Swift, Josh Jacobs, Devon, Derrick Henry, Breece Hall, Rashad White, David Montgomery. DeAndre Swift, you know who he is, hasn't been that same type of high level upside as early in the season, but still have him in our B tier. Josh Jacobs, high volume play. Devon arguably could be a league winner. He could be ending up in our A tier, just coming off that knee injury. What is that workload going to look like over the next few weeks as the Dolphins are trying to make it into the actual playoffs? Derrick Henry has great fantasy football playoff schedule. Offense hasn't been great. Have him here in the B tier. Breece Hall, arguably top 5 talent in the NFL, is just playing on this Jets offense. Rashad White, Alvin Kamara, PPR light. We do like Rashad White quite a bit. I don't necessarily love the Tampa Bay schedule, but have him here. And then David Montgomery is clearly taking a step back, 1B from Jahmyr Gibbs, so we have him here in our B tier. Then we move on to our C tier. Isaiah Pacheco, Kenneth Walker, Saquon Barkley, Brian Robinson, Raheem Mostert, Ramondre Stevenson, Javonte Williams. The thing is with this tier in particular, Kenneth Walker, if he wasn't hurt, probably ends up making it into the B tier. Saquon Barkley, we don't know what's going to be happening to him, if he's going to actually even be able to play in the playoffs for you because the Giants are tanking. They probably don't want to get him hurt. Isaiah Pacheco playing with the Chiefs. It's kind of just game script oriented whether Isaiah Pacheco is going to have a good day or a bad day. Brian Robinson, I don't love the schedule rest of the season, kind of touchdown or bust. Raheem Mostert's going to be the 1B to the Devon's 1A. Ramondre Stevenson, Javonte, both getting the volume. But like we said, do we love the offenses on either of these guys? I don't really feel so. So that's why I have all these guys in the C tier. Moving on to our D tier, we have Joe Mixon, Jerome Ford, both volume plays and really bad offenses now that Joe Burrow is currently injured for the Bengals. Jerome Ford playing with these backup quarterbacks. Jonathan Taylor, have him here in the D tier. I know he's out 2 to 3 weeks. There's a chance that Jonathan Taylor doesn't play rest of the season. I get that. But if he were to play, you're starting him. He's a league winner if he's in there for you. Jonathan Taylor in my D tier. James Conner, the volume's been there, but it hasn't necessarily been great. Guys Edwards, touchdown or bust upside here in the D tier, and then the 2 Steelers running backs. Moving on to our wide receivers that we can talk about. We're talking about our S tier. We got Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Keenan Allen, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Recording this on Friday. It's coming out on Friday. CeeDee Lamb had himself an absolute day. Clear wide receiver 2 rest of season for fantasy football. Tyreek Hill, of course, league winner. Arguably him and CMC. You have one of them. You're definitely 1 or 2 in your league. Just highly valuable players right now. AJ Brown had some down weeks. Last week caught the touchdown, but I expect him and Jalen Hurts to get right back on track where they were earlier in the season, where AJ Brown was arguably the wide receiver 2 in fantasy football. Then we move on to Keenan Allen. There's nothing else cooking in this Chargers offense. So Keenan Allen, congratulations. You are in the S tier. Amon-Ra St. Brown went from our A tier to S tier this week. A lot of you were complaining in the comments last week, and finally I saw the light. He's getting the targets. He's playing for the Detroit Lions, top 4 offense in the NFL. Give me some Amon-Ra St. Brown here in the S tier. Moving on to our A tier, we got Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson, Brandon Ayuk, Mike Evans, and Devontae Adams. Starting off with Stephon Diggs. Yes, has it been annoying with him and Josh Allen, with him not actually producing the fantasy football points that we thought? Yes, but he's still the talent that he is. Still playing in an offense that we think is really good. Put him here in our A tier. Justin Jefferson, you're not going to have him this week because he's on bye, but next week, I imagine the resurgence happens. So if somehow you're still in playoff contention, you have Justin Jefferson, congratulations. You got a bona fide wide receiver 1 coming back to your squad. Brandon Ayuk, man, imagine if he had more volume. I can't imagine Brandon Ayuk could be like an S tier, but since he's playing for the San Francisco 49ers, he's getting the targets, he's being super efficient. Have him here in our A tier, but Brandon Ayuk could definitely be higher. Mike Evans, Devontae Adams here, both solid veterans playing for their teams. Got a wide receiver 1 potential, but of course, they're not as high upside as some of these other guys in the tier. Moving on to our B tier, we got Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, clear wide receiver 2s on their team, but these two offenses are so great with the Dolphins and Eagles. Have to have him here in our B tier. Then we got Jamar Chase. So yes, 10 fantasy points this last week. It could have been better for Jamar Chase. It's hard for me to push Jamar Chase any lower in my rankings, to be honest, just because of the upside that he does possess. But maybe he might slowly start to make a fall in our rest of the season rankings week over week. Then we got Tank Dell. And yes, Nico Collins coming back didn't necessarily hurt Tank Dell at all. I still think CJ Stroud's going to cook. I think Tank Dell has overtaken him as the wide receiver 1 in this offense. Like some Tank Dell. DJ Moore, ever since Justin Fields come back. Oh my goodness. DJ Moore is a top 12 wide receiver easily. So I have him here in my B tier. Absolutely love what DJ Moore's doing. Cooper Kupp, it's been sad because of course you didn't get Cooper Kupp to start the season. He's been banged up all season with both of those ankles. It's harder for me to push him any lower just because of the upside that he does possess, but it has been pretty bad here for Cooper Kupp as of recent. Michael Pittman Jr. ending off here in our B tier. Very solid wide receiver. Then we move on to our C tier. Puka Nacua, same thing. Him and Cooper Kupp have been on the struggle bus here as of recently. So we got Puka Nacua here leading off our C tier. Chris Olave is battling a concussion. Have him here in the C tier, but was recently getting really targeted, which is really great because we were telling you to buy low on him all season. DK Metcalf just had his massive game against the Cowboys last night. So we do love DK Metcalf here. There's a chance that DK Metcalf ends up being a league winner. We could push him up to our B tier next week. Have him here in our C tier. Garrett Wilson, Nico Collins, Calvin Ridley, Zay Flowers. Garrett Wilson, the talent's there. The quarterback play isn't there. Nico Collins, clear wide receiver 2 to CJ Stroud. Calvin Ridley's been on today. So maybe you could argue Calvin Ridley should go higher, but let's be clear. Fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 3 times. I'm out. So I've been fooled a few times. So I just have Calvin Ridley here, but he is a very solid wide receiver for you rest of the season. And then ending off, of course, with Zay Flowers, wide receiver 1 for the Baltimore Ravens. Then we move into our D tier. We got Christian Kirk, Adam Thielen, DeAndre Hopkins, Debo, Drake London, Terry McLaurin, Tyler Lockett. Really, the big thing for me is Adam Thielen's fallen down a little bit lower just because of Carolina Panthers offense hasn't been there. Debo's the clear third option for San Francisco. Otherwise, he would be higher. Drake London has moved up a little bit, but how much can we actually be excited about Drake London? Hard for me. Scary Terry, Tyler Lockett. All these guys end up being wide receiver 2 flex plays depending on your roster construction. Have them here, and then rounding out our A tier, we have Amari Cooper, Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, Jordan Addison, Hollywood Brown, Josh Downs, Rashee Rice. So let me know if I miss any wide receivers here. I think this is a pretty good ranking rest of the season. But like I said, we continuously adjust these week over week rest of the season rankings. Moving into our tight ends, we have the elite tight ends. You got Travis Kelce, Sam Laporta, TJ Hawkinson. Those guys are great. Absolutely great. Sucks that Mark Andrews had to get hurt. But if you got one of those top 3, congratulations. Points per game differential is huge. Then we move to our every week starters. We got Trey McBride, George Kittle, Evan Ingram. Trey McBride arguably could be an elite tight end 1. Now that Zach Ertz has officially got traded away, we don't got to worry about that. For me, I just think there's a really big points per game differential between TJ Hawkinson, Sam Laporta versus Trey McBride. But if you got Trey McBride, I'd be very happy about him as my tight end 4. George Kittle, we've seen those boom weeks. We've seen just the average weeks. So maybe if you could have more boom weeks, we could be talking about more as an elite tight end 1, but feel very confident here as an every week starter. Evan Ingram here too with Jacksonville. And for our upside plays, we got Kyle Pitts, David Njoku, Dallas Goedert, Pat Freiermuth, Jake Ferguson, and Dalton Schultz. All these guys, elite level upsides for tight ends. And then talking about some all I have options, we got Darren Waller, Gerald Everett, K-Dot and Cole Kmet, and Hunter Henry. And then moving on to our quarterback rankings, of course, we've had the same 3 guys in the elite category all season. Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Patty Mahomes. We do our every week QB1s, and CJ Stroud and Dak Prescott have both jumped up in this tier for us compared to last week. CJ Stroud, Dak Prescott lead off this tier. We got Lamar Jackson, Tua, Justin Herbert. You're starting these guys. I don't love what Justin Herbert's been doing as of recently. Don't necessarily love what Lamar Jackson's been doing as of recently, but I still think they have elite level upside to be here in this tier, especially considering some of these guys behind them. When we're looking at the lower end QB1s, Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Brock Purdy. Justin Fields ended up going from a QB streamer back up to a lower end QB1. I know. Chicago Bears, they don't look good with Justin Fields, but he puts up fantasy points. So I don't care about his long-term projections with Justin Fields. All I care about is his week to week. How many rushing touchdowns is he getting? How many passing touchdowns is he getting? He's been doing pretty good. So Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Brock Purdy. And talking about some streamers, we got Sam Howell, Jared Goff, Will Levis, and Jordan Love to round out the rest of the season rankings. So like I said, I know this was a quick video, but I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're going to be talking about some stash players to stash tomorrow. And ask me any start sit question down below. Be happy to get to it. And I'll catch you guys all in the next one. Peace.